What's up YouTube? It's me, Drake Soul, with a new video. Another kind of video. This time it's not really a montage. I mean, obviously... Yeah, it's not really a montage, it's like more of a collection of clips I'm going to show you with commentary this time, because... I don't know, I just want to try something new. I want to try a new kind of video. I love making montages for you guys. I really like to, you know, find a cool song, maybe play with the camera mod a little bit, make it look good. But other times I just wanna, you know, talk and sort of take this opportunity so you guys can know me a little bit better. I started playing Souls games, I think, when I was 15 or something. Kind of a long time ago, like 6 years or 7 years. And yeah, these are the kinds of games that I like. These are really just what I play mostly. And that's basically because I really love the combat in these games. Not just PvP, I'm not talking just about PvP, I'm talking about just how the game feels. Like the actions that you can take in these games are interesting to me, and yeah, that's why I started playing PvP. With Elden Ring in particular, something that happens with this game is that everything is really flashy. There's a lot of what people would call anime stuff going on with the introduction of Ashes of War, which used to be called weapon arts in Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 was like my first PvP game. And in that game, you didn't really see a lot of weapon art spam. It was mostly R1 spam. That's because that game has a 2-hit true combo system, where if you get hit once, I think all weapons, or most weapons, have the ability to stun lock you, so that you get hit twice. And I think the removal of that mechanic is a good choice. I think it makes combat more interesting. But that, coupled with the introduction of Ashes of War, there are basically a lot of projectiles, a lot of moves that deal a shit ton of damage. It changed a little bit how the PvP in these games felt. And now that I've been playing Elden Ring for 3 years, I think I prefer my mage playstyle, basically because I just really like to take advantage of the fact that now projectiles and flashy stuff and big moves deal a lot of damage, a lot more damage than they used to deal in other Souls games. But it's also because I just like character building. That's why most of my characters are cosplays or thematical. I'm not really that much of a technical player. I'm really not. I would say I'm a PvP player. That's like mostly what I play. I play PvP. That's what I focus on in these games. But I wouldn't say I'm like a competitive player. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys in YouTube nowadays that both do PvP content competitively and casually. And I would like to fall in between those categories, but a little bit more towards casually playing, because I just like the thematical aspect of these games. I like the RPG aspect. I like to make a character. That being said, I've been having a lot of fun making what is pretty much like a meta character, like a 80 dexterity, full endurance, just basically an optimal setup for fighting multiple people. Now I think that looks really flashy, and that was like one Ash of War, one very strong Ash of War, but it was also followed up with combos. You know, I think that's interesting too. But I guess that's... Oh shit, look at this shit. Just look at this invasion. Look at the shit you can do in seamless co-op. I think this is like 1,000 times more interesting than like vanilla, but yeah, you sometimes come across This is what some YouTubers denominate as sad ganking. When you're ganking with your summons, you know, when you summon NPCs to help you beat other players. that's what it's known as, sad ganking, and it's fucking hilarious. Seamless Co-op makes a good job of not making the summons like too overwhelming, but at the same time it is kind of an advantage. I mean, they will never break your stance, your poise, unless you get hit a lot of times. So summons don't have that level of threat where they're not as dangerous as a real player, but they do deal some cheap damage. I mean, it is pressure nonetheless, and these guys seem to be like very stuck on past meta, because this guy is spamming that shield. What was it called? Like the throwable shield. That shield used to stun lock the shit out of you. Like it would stagger you no matter what you were wearing. And it was very, very strong. Nowadays, not so much. I'm using a counter-attack build for this dexterity build. It's a counter-attack setup. It works really, really well with backhand blades, because the counter-attack for those blades is really strong. It literally just one-shots people. I think I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show some of those clips after this invasion, where the backhand blades is very much like the highlight of the build. I mean, you have a lot of other tools. That's the thing. I feel like physical builds have way more options than they used to have. Like with Dark Souls 3, something happened where straight swords were what everybody was using. It was like every build had a straight sword in that game, and for good reason. I mean, the straight sword was like the strongest thing in Dark Souls 3. It's sort of like the same thing with the backstabs in Dark Souls 1. Everybody was making their characters around backstabs if you were playing PvP. Unless you were using Dark Beat, of course. In that case, you were just making your character around having a literal shotgun. God, those were some funny times. In this game, I don't think there's like a spell that's as strong as Dark Beat. I think Impenetrable Thorns was a spell that came really close to it, where you had this one-shotting spell that up close would deal a shit ton of damage and just one-shot any build, and I mean literally any build. HP builds, tanks, just whatever, physical defense, magic defense, whatever. It just one-shotted people. It was bugged like that. But it was also really fun in the sense that it wasn't the easiest skill to land. You think if you were alone, of course, if you were in a gank, anything is easy to land if you are ganking, right? And that's like a big problem with these games, is that you need to balance it out so that one move isn't so strong that it literally everything is determined on the fact that you're casting that move, you know, or you're doing that move, because of the fact that you play against multiple people in these games. That's what I'm talking about. The counter-attack of the backhand blades is just insane. It's just the one-shotting everybody. It's almost like what I'm talking about, but the caveat in those types of moves is that to get hit by those things, you need to be messing up. You need to mess up a lot. So it's sort of like the reward for actually being able to hit your opponent with those moves is like you get a shit ton of damage, right? But it's not an easy thing to hit. That's how it should be balanced. That's how a lot of things should be balanced. Unlike that Ash of War, the Reduvia Ash of War is really easy to hit, and it can deal a shit ton of damage. That's like an Ash of War that, well, it isn't the strongest, but it's definitely not weak at all in that sense. Remember guys, when backhand blades used to have like infinite iframes, so that Ash of War was like an unstoppable dodge that was also super offensive. It dealt a shit ton of damage and you had a shit ton of iframes. It was like the winning button, right? Nowadays, anybody that's complaining about backhand blades nowadays just doesn't really know what makes things strong in this game, because now backhand blades are not like super strong at all. They're not bad. There's actually a true combo going on with the Great Katana and the backhand blade setup that I'm trying to use. If you hit the L1 with a Great Katana and then you hit R1 with a backhand blade on your main hand, you're gonna get a true combo. Sort of like in Dark Souls 3, I mean. I've been meaning to ask though, guys, what do you think about this fashion souls? What do you think about this armor set or whatever? I don't typically use heavy armor, mainly because of the fact that I kind of prioritize fashion a little bit. I mean, that's the thing I like to play with min-maxing between having good stats, having things that are strong, but also having things that I like to look at. I think everybody does that to an extent, but there's people that don't, and it's just different ways to play the game. It's the beautiful thing about these games is that there's different ways to play them. There you can see the counter-attack for Great Katanas isn't that great. I mean, it's 700 damage for like a move that takes 3 seconds to perform. It's not that good, but it looks cool, so I'm gonna do it anyways. Dealing with this duo right here wasn't necessarily that difficult, but it's definitely like a situation where players know that they don't panic like other players, right? But they're not exactly using the most pressurable things ever. I mean, the Death Blade spell is really slow, so it's never going to pressure me that much. But they're trying to use it in a way to like pressure me, right? And I think that one of the keys to succeed in these games is to know how to deal with that pressure. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to make a video where I basically yap non-stop, to do something more chill, and also because making montages and stuff takes a lot of time, so I just want to diversify the content in that way. You can let me know what do you want to see the most, if you want to see like the montages, if you want to see more commentary gameplays. Hell, maybe you want to see like shorts with commentary instead of like the typical silent shorts that I make. But anyways, here's the build, here are the stats, and you have any recommendations for any kind of build that you want me to make, leave it down in the comments below. And I guess see you in Night Rain. We should be pretty close to that thing, Night Rain, Elden Ring Night Rain. Hopefully it's fun. Well, that's with me, Drake Soul out. Bye.